welcome Charles Mbappe. No, mate, welcome to the podcast, but also as well, mate, welcome to the segment. I'm very blessed to have you because I know that you've recently joined us, but also at the same time, I think it's really important with someone with your talent and your experience, given that you've got an economic degree in finance. We're very blessed to have that as a business as well. So welcome, mate.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Barry. I am blessed to be here too.
Yeah, good on you, buddy. Mate, what we're looking to talk about today is, really showing your qualities and your strengths. Right, so having known you for a period of time, I know that it's there. You've got quite a few people in the industry that have spoken really highly of you. But mate, I just want you to probably explain, who is Charles? What's your niche as a finance person? So where do you sit, mate?
Well, who's Charles is a big question, I guess, to ask. So I guess I would start maybe from my background in terms of my employment.
Sure.
And I guess maybe personal as well. I've been in Australia since 2006 and it's been a journey. I actually migrated from Zimbabwe but lived in the UK for about 6 years. But coming to Australia, I came to study more predominantly, wanted to do finance and economics. I completed my degree in 2010. I did a double degree in finance and in economics. So that was my most direct focus on what I wanted to do. And I guess working in the financial industry for nearly 9 to 11 years, I've immersed myself in understanding what the market is. I guess there's a big question that you've asked there. Who is my niche? My niche is very, very broad, but just to simplify it is, for me, it's a customer who's got the need and I am here to provide the service.
Nice, mate. So let's dive into that, right? A double degree. I mean, look, from a broking sense, having been a broker in the industry for 20 years, the benchmark to get into being a broker is somewhat easy-ish. To find that quality that you do have is quite unique. You normally find it maybe in accounting or maybe financial planning or economics, of course, right? So one of the things I'm super excited about is leveraging off that with that quality that people need to see, because obviously I've seen you prepare a few deals so far and it's quite unique, right? So, and I think this is where the mortgage broking industry is going. So let's go into that niche, right? What's the best way to create the best customer experience, in your opinion, with the niche that you want to look after? So, how best do you align yourself with when you're speaking to clients? What is your strengths?
I guess to create a best customer experience for me is identifying the client's needs and then working predominantly to explore who they are and then making it really simple. I would say the simpler you make it for a customer and providing an educational piece as well makes the customer understand. I guess the first thing is, how do you draw the client to say, I'm looking for what I'm looking for, based on, one, understanding your products, two, understanding what the client is. It's not always the dollar value that you're looking for. It's not always headhunting for the deal. It's making the client say, well, he's got the best of interest in me, not trying to find a deal to make money. No, it's more about understanding who they are. So when I unpack that, I'm just looking at the client and saying, one, who are they? Are they first home buyers? Are they refinancing? Are they looking to actually grow their portfolio? How do you do that? What you do is understand where they are currently, and then how will they grow financially? Provide them a service that not every broker will have. And so what that is be personal, be intentional, and also kind of broaden it up to make sure that they're captured by understanding what you're providing to them.
So how best do you kind of tailor make the structure? Right. So it's really interesting there. You want to simplify it because it's so broad, right?
Yep.
And, how best do you tailor it for a client? What would be your kind of, hey, this is my standout. This is what we do. This is what I do.
Yeah, to provide a tailored servicing, I guess what I'm looking for in a client is, what is it that they're looking for? One, is it to save them in their home loan? Are they looking for a better rate, or are they looking for a better service? And by understanding those three, one, if there's a better service, one is, why have they left their bank? And what has been done for them to leave their
broker.
bank? Or their broker. Exactly, because most of the times is a client, once they have settled, the broker obviously gets what they're getting in terms of their trail, but they forget the customer service piece. In saying, how do we service a customer post-settlement? Do we check in? Do we look at the financial goals? Do we look at the bigger picture? What is it that we didn't explore after settlement? Because clients always looking for their best interest. And so when you look at them and say, hey, we've settled your deal, At 6 months, we're just checking in. How are you going with your home loan? Are you happy? Are there things that you would really want to check? Because the market moves in very different directions.
But also as well, right? So when you solidify that structure,
Yep.
and it's making sure that you solidify it moving forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So aligning that person with, hey, here's a clear plan moving forward and how we're actually going to pay it off quicker.
Yep.
Reduce the interest as quickly as possible and create equity, right?
Correct.
So to ensure those points just there,
Yeah.
you know, how do you work with clients with the short-term goals and the long-term goals? What is the niches there?
Short-term goals, when you're looking at the short-term goals, I guess what you're looking at is from 1 to 2 years. I would say that's a short-term goal because you want the clients to stick for the first 2 years and see where they're going, especially first-time buyers. They want to first move into the house. They want to see where they're going. And then obviously they're growing their employment. Maybe the family is growing as well. And then the thing is, when you look at the second year is maybe they're financially stable. They're moving up in their employment and getting more income. I guess they're obviously eager to either buy an investment or maybe draw some equity from their house. They want to see how that is going. So I guess when you're looking at the short-term goals, you're looking at what is it that they can do once they move into their home and how are they going for the first maybe 1 to 3 years, I would say. And then the third year, what you're seeing is what can they do to grow that?
It's re-engaging.
Yes.
So a refinancing client.
Yes.
Someone that's looking into consolidate.
Mm-hmm.
What's your tips there?
In terms of refinancing, what I would say is how has the product serviced you? How have you experienced, or how has been your experience with your bank at the moment? And is there anything that you want to change, or is there anything that you're happy or unhappy about it? What can we do different? And then from there, the conversation starts. Do we need to change? Do we need to find something better? Or let's look at the equity on the house. Has there been any improvement in the value of the house since we bought the house or since we refinanced it?
Would you also look at cash flow?
Cash flow, 100%. 100%.
So is that your go-to every time?
All the time. I think there's always an opportunity with every client to see what their cash flow is, because there's always some money sitting somewhere that we don't know about, or the client is planning to do something. We just want to maybe uncover that and just open up and see, well, if you're not going to do any investments in the next 6 months, what's the plan in the next 12 months? Can we review it in the next 6 months and say closer to the 12 months? Are we closer to the goal? So I guess the cash flow is very, very key, because at the end of the day, we can go for a refinance and stop there, but there's more opportunities in terms of what the equity is there in the house, what more income is the client gaining.
Because I normally find is that people purchase the property, particularly with refinancing, they get the refinancing part, you debt consolidate it, get the cash flow back into a kind of surplus arrangement. But also, I think also at the same time is like giving that client a tangible long-term kind of wealth creation.
Correct.
Is the burning desire for me. I love that. I love giving someone, hey, this is what you've got now. This is where we need to be. Yep. If that's what you're aligned with, and that's where I think where finance broking's going as well, right?
100%. And that makes you a different broker than anyone else, because if you're one that's looking for just from A to B, you'll always be from A to B. But you got to look at A, B, C, and D. What is it that the client can move from B to C? How can we help them get to that position? Or even though it's not happening right now, maybe they can have a clear idea to say, well, I've got this educational piece from this guy, and what can I do different when it comes?
So even just speaking to you, right? So for people that want to reach out and have a chat with you, you take that. So your initial phone call when someone calls you as a broker, what's your initial top 5, not from a banking policy sense, what's your top 5 things that you think about naturally? I call you, g'day Charles, I got your details, I know that you've got all these great attributes. What are 5 things that you think?
For me, I always love to know how you found me. Yeah. Because
found you through a friend.
Yeah. And the reason why you found me through a friend, maybe it's because I did a good deed for them, or they're recommending because of the service that I provided or some information that I've provided to them. So the next thing I would say is, after that, I would like to know about you. Tell me more about you. Because the more the client tells about themselves, the more you understand. So I speak less, you tell me more. I think that will be the key. And the more I get more from you, then I can actually explore more. The next thing is, where do we plug you in terms of what you're looking for? So if you're looking to purchase a first home, where we're going? How can we give you the educational piece to make sure that you understand where you're going? Look at the market, look at the first-time grants and the schemes, the schemes that come through and all that. And then you just got to implore that to your customer, educate them in such a way that they have full, I would say, comfort in speaking to you and knowing that whatever you provide, no other broker will do that. So if you have your best interest in doing that, that's the thing. The third one I would say is I always want the clients to be in a position to say, you know what, I've got everything that I needed, and to make it simple for the client. Because the more paper, I think the amount of clients that we have, they are all working class. They are all busy with families, with kids, activities and all. They want less. And how can you simplify it to make it easy for them? And the lesser you do that, and the more efficient you become with them, then it becomes easy for them. That's why the referral piece becomes very easy, because they know that, you know what, you got someone who's efficient, or you got someone who can help you, and then the whole, it's like a hand and glove relationship.
Like the jigsaw comes together.
There you go.
And the fourth?
And the fourth one, I would say, for me, it's understanding your policies and making the clients aware that you've got the experience of understanding where you can plug them.
Love it.
So that's where you guys. And the fifth one, I guess, just be authentic. And being authentic makes someone appreciate and accept what you do. And the rest, I mean, building trust, they say it takes 3 seconds to build trust, by looking someone in the eye and see what they do and just building that. And if they can have that trust in you, then the rest kind of like falls into place. So that's a big jigsaw puzzle coming clear.
So you mentioned there building long-term relationships with people.
Yep.
We'll jump around a bit, right? So you're very passionate about simplifying stuff. You're very passionate about relationships. So staying engaged with someone, that would be your strength. What do you love about that part?
For me, if I have a friend and we have a lasting relationship, it has to be good. And how you sustain that is be good to them, they'll be good to you. And that's the key. And if you do provide the good service to them, the outcome will come the same as well. So building lasting relationships for me makes it easy to work in this industry, makes it easy just in a general sense to have people who can connect you. You think about your circle of influence. The people that you hang around maybe playing soccer with, they can know who you are based on what you do, what you provide to them, and how you do it. And that allows a door for someone else to come in. They can refer you to someone else, and it becomes a linking chain. The chain comes and you build your momentum, and then becomes a snowball effect. So that's the big part.
Why do you think some brokers don't succeed, or people in our industry?
To be honest, I think for me, it's the servicing piece where a lot of people don't succeed. Don't get me wrong, the role can be sometimes overwhelming because there's a lot that you need to understand with it. Understanding policies, maintaining clients, and maintaining the whole process as well. However, I think the success in this role is for you to understand who your client is, work to the best of your ability, and then give them the need that they need by avoiding any other stuff that would actually draw the client from moving forward with you. So being a different broker is all about being in the front of the customer, getting the information that they want once, and moving forward. Back and forth will obviously be an issue. A client that sees you being very articulate from the start to the end, and almost like a one-touch process, if I can say it that way, a one-touch client is what you need. Touch it first in the interview, and then maybe touch it before the application is lodged. And then that's it. The client is happy in that process.
So you think that from a failures perspective, it's the servicing part that the brokers obviously lack? Do you also think that maybe some of it would be communication?
100%. And that's a huge key.
Efficiency?
When I'm talking about service, maybe I should have elaborated from that. Service is all about providing the information as clear as possible and as simple as possible to help someone understand where they're going. So a lot of clients, I would say, they leave brokers because, one, the brokers are too busy sometimes to return calls. The brokers have got no maybe processes in place to help them, or discipline within themselves to help them get to where they are. A client calls you, respond to them in an hour, respond to them and give them the information. You may be too busy, but the best gift you can ever have is a client in front of you. So don't leave it behind, because that opportunity as a call is one opportunity closer to another deal. I guess.
Love it. And also, I suppose it's one more opportunity for a client to look at their financial situation as well, right? So I'm really intrigued, I'm not going to lie, about your double degree, your degree in economics. Leveraging from that, because the landscape of the finance sector is quite broad. You've got residential, commercial, business lending.
Yeah.
It's completely 3 different categories, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the lending arm, we've got over, how many lenders do we have on panel? 40?
Over 40.
40 plus?
Yeah.
So why, if I just stick to the residential, so why would I come to you, right? Because I can jump online.
Yep.
I've got other major banks that can offer online process where I can do it myself, which I think, in all honesty, they're doing themselves an injustice in many areas. There's 19,000 brokers out there now. Not everyone takes it as serious as probably yourself and myself, but why you?
To be honest, why would you come to me is because, one, there will be a best service that you would get, and I would make sure you have the priority based on what you get first. Secondly, with the policies that we understand, we're going to grow in understanding who they are. My business degree and my understanding of the economy, and also understanding building wealth and cash flow, will be the key to making sure I can make my customers have confidence in what I do for them. So I really want to grow people's cash flow from where they are to where they want to be by helping them and using my degree as a springboard to say, we're going to be successful in where we're going.
You mentioned that, with your business acronym and everything in the background, is that you then can, not that you can dictate where interest rates are going in the next 10 years, but you have a firm understanding from a cash flows perspective, right? So let's talk about the cash flow perspective.
Yeah.
So Charles, you help who? Who do you help? You help first-time buyers?
First-time buyers. Also, I help refinances. And I'm very interested and very keen on people who want to grow their portfolio. And that's key because I guess that's the structuring of cash flow.
Okay.
And the wealth growth is huge in this current market because at the moment, a lot of people are sitting on a lot of equity and they don't know about it. And the thing is, I think every time you ask the client, have you done evaluation on your home? How much do you think it's worth? They really want to talk it up. Oh, I think it's worth $2 million. Even though it's worth $1 million, they think it's worth more.
Of course.
The reason why they do so is because they want something out of it. They know there's something in there. There's a pot of gold that's there. So the question I'd say is, if there's a pot of gold, what can we do to tap into that?
To make it bigger.
Exactly. How can we go from here to maybe 5 mil? Rather than sitting on 2, you've got a pot of gold. What's there in that gold that we can expand into it?
Mate, talk to me about a first-home buyer.
Yep.
Your niche is your first-home buyers. You help your mum and dads either debt consolidate or refinance or looking at purchasing another property, wealth creation.
Yeah. My niche, as I allude to, is the first-home buyers. First-home buyers, for me, I think they are my pot of gold. You got to handle them with care. And I guess the reason why I say that, and I actually say it passionately because I was once a first-home buyer, the information I knew then, I didn't know then, and now I know now, I really want to impart it on some young people. And the bigger part for me, the big piece, and I want to say this is, the more you give them the information to make a decision that's fully informed, because this is a massive debt they're looking to get into. If you give them the right information and the one that is genuine to them, not for your own personal need, but for their own goal, it will make it very easy for them to make the final decision. One, that will entrust them to say, well, they will know people. So when you look at first-home buyers, you're looking at people between their 20s and 30s, and their circle of influence and the connection that they have, it will allow you to tap in on those connections because that's a referral process. If you give one, the first one, the next one will come in because they will entrust you to refer you to the next one.
But first-home buyers, what do you love about them?
The first-home buyers, I think what I love about them is, one, they have shown their evidence of either savings. They have worked hard to get where they are. And it's going to be hard for them in this current market because property values have gone up and them tapping into that market is really hard. So plugging them into different lenders, if they've got 5% or 10% or actually 20%, or if they need actually a guarantor or all those things, you can tap into that and work with that. So that's the key that you can do. Impart that information to help them through that.
Love that. Mate, you mentioned refinancing, debt consolidation. I mean, it's honestly, as a broker myself, when I was obviously still qualified, but haven't, not in the trenches with you guys. But I love it. I genuinely love dealing with people. Why do you love it too?
Refinance is the story in the current market,
isn't it?
That is what's happening. So if you have a home loan, definitely you got to be shopping around in this time of the year, in this time of the market, because with the rates coming down, a lot of people don't see where they've been sitting at. And let's be honest, a lot of people have rolled out of their fixed rates into the standard variable, where they were sitting at 2% or 3%. Now they're sitting at a higher 6.5%. It's a big shock to the system. So the question that's there is, what do you need to do? Refinance, for me, that's where the pot of gold comes in. You need to link yourself with clients, understand where they're sitting in, what they can do, what options they can take advantage of. There's cashbacks, there's loans that have annual fees. Some people are sitting with home loans that still have annual fees still going. And at the moment, the market is filled with a lot of loans or banks that are offering loans with no annual fees, but with cashback and better interest rates. So there's a need for me to tap into that. And I think this current market is where we will be.
Okay, so someone's watching right now and they're thinking about it. What would prompt someone to go, hey, I need to talk to Charles?
What would prompt someone else to take action right now is the question that is, have you done your home loan test? Where is your interest rate? Are you sitting at a favorable rate right now? And are you happy with your current rate? If you're not, I'm the guy to go to. And do you know how much you've paid off in the last 12 months?
Like, it's your biggest debt.
Yeah.
That's what boggled me as well with people. I'm like, it's the biggest debt you've got.
Yep.
And you don't know what you've paid off. That's quite alarming, right? Or how much the interest component is. So for anyone to reach out for you to just have a bit of a look, what should someone do right now for you to kind of go, well, look, let's talk about refinancing. Let's talk about debt consolidation. You mentioned simple before. What do they need to give you just to have a look to see whether that rate is competitive for you?
I would say just give me 12 months bank statements.
And what will you do with them?
I guess what I want to see is, how much have they paid off of their interest in the last 12 months? And are they actually taking advantage of what the current rate is?
And the product.
And also, are there any costs that are in there that you have not even looked into? A lot of people are sitting home paying nearly about $11,500 in annual fees, and they don't know about it because they've got the loan maybe 5-7 years ago. And those products are no longer. We've got new products that are actually more tailored to who the client is. So you want to try and obviously tap into that. Help the client learn a bit more about their product, help them know that there's better products right now, and help them save more. I think that's it.
Because the competition's getting rife, isn't it?
100%. And it's very key at the moment because a lot of people are so busy that they forget that the biggest expense that they have, which is their home, is not being looked after.
It's really interesting, taking a holistic kind of look. Because it's all about the holistic. And that's where I think broking's going, right?
Yep.
The amount of fees people don't know that they're paying on their super statement is huge. Yep. Like anyone that's over 45 should be really looking at, 40, anyone should be looking at the super statement. You want to be that trusted person that can analytically go through someone's statement to identify a benefit.
Yep.
So I think it's really key to remember here is that you want to help people, you want to help, simplify the process. So getting a home loan statement to you so you can analytically go through it and kind of go back and say, hey, look, you're at the right bank, you're with the right lender. That's the key.
Yep.
Is that what you'd suggest?
That would be very.
Mate, last one I probably want to speak about is investment. You spoke about wealth creation.
Yep.
Why would I choose you? I mean, yes, you've got an economics degree, but why you?
Why would you choose me?
And what do you love about it?
Why would you choose me, and what would you love about it is, one, I will be pretty much authentic and very methodological in the way I do things. I will take you from A to B, and I would make sure where we're going, you've got a clear understanding of what we're doing.
So talk to me about that A and B.
The A and B is first, understanding your needs. What do you have? And identifying what we can do for you. I guess a lot of people have a massive portfolio, and sometimes it's just too overwhelming for them to understand.
Or just a simple home loan.
Yeah. And sometimes they have a simple home loan, and the simple home loan is one that is being paid off, because that's the key thing. You just want to know how much are you paying off. And secondly, what can you do now because you're paying it off? What can we do to get to point B? Is there an opportunity to get an investment? Have you tapped into your equity to see how much equity is sitting on your home loan?
Is interest rates higher?
Yes.
Cash flow.
That's it. And those are the big things that allow you from moving from A to B, because a lot of changes happen. One, when the rates come down, which is the market that we're in at the moment, you're finding that the opportunity of paying off your loan faster is, do you have the right products? Are the products allowing you to pay off your home loan? And then that allows you to free up some cash to say, hey, with this, I can do renos, or I can actually now use the equity to buy another investment. So how do we do that? We'll look at the bigger picture. Can you do that in the next 6 or 12 months? If that's the plan, let's look at what the projection looks like. So I would love to obviously sit down with clients and say, hey, based on where we are right now, this is where we're going, and this is how you can achieve it. And the best way to do it is this way.
And you can use it multiple banks, right?
100%.
So you can, how many, so you've just not got one bank?
No.
You've got multiple banks.
You've got multiple banks, and you have choice. I mean, the choice is there, and you have the way to obviously structure with the customer to say, hey, based on this review of who you are, this is what works for you. And the client can make a decision. Of course, the recommendation cannot be what she wants or he or she wants, but at the end of the day, you can say, hey, this is what we have, but I need them to understand that for what I'm doing, I'm working at the best of their interest, and what I will be providing is a great service, and for them to say, yes, let's go with the money.
Charles, why, you mentioned investment before, growing wealth portfolio. That could be from the shares. It could be from buying an investment property, buying an established house, buying a new house. There's so much out there.
Yep.
From a bank's perspective, why, this is a stat and anyone can jump on and have a look, ChatGPT or Google. Mate, why is 13% of the population in this country only got investment properties?
Why do they have investment properties? I think it's because the interest rates are high, and they would want to take advantage of that. And there's a huge aspect when it comes to accounting in terms of negative gearing and how clients can take advantage of that. And a lot of customers don't know where they are. They have an investment, and sometimes is it working well for them or is it not? And it's very, very key that you understand what your cash flow looks like and how you're growing that portfolio as well. So I would say a lot of people have investments, but it's what you do with that investment and how we can do that. And I really want to make sure I can drive into that.
But also as well, right? So if you don't want to buy an investment, a lot of people might want to invest into the ASX, so you can tap into your equity there, right? So I suppose in summary, mate, before, we jump on, it's that analytically, I think that you want to go through something and kind of seek out the opportunities.
Yep.
I've done a blog and I always speak about it, is you spend one day out of the 365 days a year working on your own stuff. It's not difficult, right?
No, it's not.
So, Charles, anyone that wants to reach out, mate, how best to do that, and, your turnaround time, you'd love to see people face to face. How do we find Charles?
Well, I am at SW Brokerage, so you can go to our website, swbrokerage.com.au, or you can contact me on 0461 305 593, or you can send me an email at charles@swbrokerage.com.au. You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can find me on my socials.
Find anyone anyway.
There you go. You can search my name anywhere, you might find me. And I'm happy to obviously link up with anyone who's looking for any help.
Now, Charles, I haven't prepped you for this question. 3 people. So let's look at Charles, right? 3 people that you would like to invite to dinner. It can't be any of your family or friends. Who would it be?
The 3 people I will invite to dinner. Number 1 is a gentleman by the name of Tony Aspinay.
Tony Aspinay?
Yeah.
Who's Tony Aspinay?
Tony Aspinay stepped in the role of my father when I was getting married. And he was pretty much my dad on the day when I was getting married. And he's played a big role in shaping me and a huge role model for me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Next?
The second person, I would say, it doesn't have to be family, right?
It can't be family.
It can't be family. I would love to sit down with Stephen Gerrard. I'm a Liverpool fan.
Stevie G?
Yep. Stevie G would be great to catch up with. He's done a lot. I mean, I'm a huge Liverpool fan, and just to share.
Well this year?
Yeah. To have maybe a Scouse meal one day.
Okay, so you've got Tony.
Yep.
You've got Stevie G.
Yep.
Next, one more to have dinner with. Anyone in the world?
Anyone in the world.
Still living.
Still living. Oh, that's a really, really tough one because...
Robbie Fowler?
Oh, Robbie, no.
Anyone politically? religiously? Actress?
Actress. I would say Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew
He's got a soft eye for Drew Barrymore. Cut no one out just in case his wife listens. Drew Barrymore. That's a really weird
one, isn't it?
That is, man. That's cool, though. We can use Drew Barrymore.
No.
Just to make sure that when your wife is watching this or listening, I did ask, it can't be family. Okay? So I don't know about Drew Barrymore by the sounds of it. Okay, the next three.
Yeah.
Okay? The next three are the people that you most admire in business.
I would say I've read the book about Bill Gates.
So Bill Gates?
Bill Gates, yes.
Okay, yep. Next.
Is it? And I must say I've been inspired by the guy who wrote The Barefoot Investor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What's his name? Barefoot Investor?
Yeah, I've forgotten his. Oh.
We'll Google it.
Yeah.
So the third person that you admire in business?
The third person I admire in business, he's not a businessman.
Can be someone you know.
But I just love this strategic, I would say, Alan Sugar. All right, yes.
Alan Sugar?
Alan
Who
Sugar.
used to own Tottenham?
Well, after watching him on...
you're not a Liverpool fan then?
Yeah.
Apprentice.
Business Apprentice, yes.
Alan Sugar.
I've watched a lot of that. And I think I was a young man when I was watching his shows, but it's how he developed and how he knew an art for someone who had the IQ to do business. He could identify someone and say, you can do it. And he could tell you that, no, you can't do it. And to have that intuition on someone based on just maybe the first presentation is huge, because it's either you make or break them. And for me, I guess I always looked at that. I was like, how is it they have the intuition to understand that part? I mean, this would be a side note. I love music. I sing a lot, and I'm going to throw a line here. I actually tried to audition to the X Factor, but the way they identify a talent is based on the first note that you hit. And if you can hit the right note from the first go, they get you. For someone who have that intuition.
So you can sing? I think a Christmas party is going to be the karaoke party. Anyone that wants me to live stream that, just let me know. The Barefoot Investor. So the other person you'd like to have at dinner?
Scott Pape.
Scott Pape.
Yes.
Barefoot Investor.
Barefoot Investor.
Nice.
So much information there and so much knowledge to help, especially I would say first-time buyers or anyone who really wants to start into investment and portfolio growth.
So Bill Gates, Scott Pape, Alan Sugar.
Yes.
Okay. And you auditioned for the X Factor.
I did.
And where did you get up to?
Oh, I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to...
Can we YouTube it? Anyone that's out there, YouTube, Charles. I tell you, I promise you this. Our next podcast that we do, you've got to sing a little note.
Oh, boy.
What's your favourite song? What kind of genre does Charles like?
I love R&B, but I've sang a lot of jazz. I love a lot of jazz as well. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. You get on my daughter. She loves jazz.
There you go.
So jazz. Mm-hmm. Okay, so bit R&B, bit of jazz.
Yep.
All right, well, mate, this is... I've loved this. I really have. Getting to know you a little bit more.
I think I've opened a can of worms here.
You have. Trust me. But mate, thank you so much.
No, pleasure.
It's been great.
My pleasure.
I'm really excited about having you on board. I genuinely really, really want to encourage people that are listening that, should to reach out. I mean, to have someone with your quality, your qualifications in the background. Service is a big thing that you really, which is we obviously really align ourselves here at SWB, but also at the same time is the communication and being that unique of wealth creation and helping first home buyers is something that, I'm not just saying this, been in the industry for 20 years, a lot of people just look at it as a transaction. You can clearly see that's not your genre, right? Sorry to bring another singing analogy into it. But mate, thank you so much. I'm really excited about seeing it all unfold.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, mate.